I'm Liz Brown Swanson. Welcome to RPV City Talk with our famous Mayor Dave Bradley. I'm going to say famous because you've been making headlines around the world, and we'll talk about that after. But it's so good to have you for your monthly Mayor's Update. Of course, we're at the beautiful Trump National on a wintry day.
It is. It's not exactly the beautiful sunny day that we like to have here in Southern California, but it is still a spectacular view out looking at Catalina this morning.
And you just finished your monthly Mayor's Breakfast. Every other month you come to Trump and you meet with the leaders of our city's volunteer committees and planning commission.
Yes.
So let's just kick off with that because it seemed like you had an exciting, active conversation about the state of the city, what's going on. What can you share from the meeting you just held?
So we go over all the major things that are going on with the council, things that are coming before council in the next couple sessions, and then each of the committees and commissions give a kind of report on what they're working on and the major things that they're working on. As you know, that we're going into our goals planning cycle, which is kicking off our budgetary season. So talking to the Finance Advisory Committee about what they're working on and helping us come up with the city's budget for 25-26.
I know you mentioned goals and budget setting workshops going on right now in the city. Our viewers, our residents should go onto our city website. We always say this through the whole show, rpvca.gov, to look at dates. I know by the time this show is airing, you will have already had your goals workshop. We'll talk about city goals a little bit later on the show, but of course, still the number one focus of the council, of our city staff, and the community is what is happening with our ongoing state of emergency in the landslide complex. Bring us up to speed on the latest mitigation measures, how we're helping impacted residents, as we talk about this every time now we have you
Absolutely.
on the show.
Portuguese Bend continues to be a major issue within the city, of course, both financially as well as our residents and the effect that it's had on folks. Palos Verdes Drive South continues to be a major issue. In fact, today, coming here, several people got stuck, I think including a couple of our
camera crew. Because
a truck got stuck on the ski jump because of that insanely steep slope. We continue to have to work through that. The deep dewatering wells that we had put in over the last 6 months are still producing water. A couple of them are starting to get pinched off. We had thought that they could have been pinched off within weeks of drilling them, but they've lasted almost 6 months. So we may have to re-drill 1 or 2 of the currently 11 city drilled wells, but that was expected. That will, of course, cost more money to continue the operations and maintenance of those. The Portuguese Bend Community Association, or ACLAD, 2 different things. ACLAD is drilling 10 additional wells over on the west side. We hope that in conjunction with the city wells is going to bring and restabilize the west side, similar to how the east side of the slide has been stabilized in the community or in the Seaview as well as the Beach Club area.
Let's just segue into what's happened with homes that have been impacted in the Portuguese Bend landslide complex area. Some of those homes that are red tagged, yellow tagged are applying for assistance through a buyout program. A lot of these homes, obviously there was 300 plus that initially were de-energized.
Yes.
Without having power. A lot of homes have gotten their power back. So how about just what is going on with the state of our residents impacted? Can you give us an idea about that?
So roughly half of the homes that were de-energized now have power back. Some of those homes still don't have gas service, but SoCal Gas is working to get them gas service. And those are the areas that have stabilized where the infrastructure is not a public safety hazard. We're continuing to work with the gas company and Southern California Edison to pressure them to get as much of our residents back on municipal power and municipal gas service. But it's slow going. Still, a lot of our residents have been impacted, and it's very sad. The red tagged homes, we think that we, through a hazard mitigation program, will be able to take about 20 homes off the market that have been majorly impacted, which is the majority of all the red tagged homes and then some of the yellow tagged homes.
Okay. At this point, because it's well over a year since we've declared a state of emergency for the landslide complex, your overall, at this point, I think I asked you this the last show, like, are you optimistic?
We've done some great work, and in conjunction with the 2 geologic hazard abatement districts, ACLAD and KCLAD, we have done some great work. We did the emergency winterization, which was lining a couple of our canyons to help convey the water down and not let it get into the water table and recharge the artesian water pressure. And that's been successful. Some of those were temporary linings of the canyons, and they've been much more resilient than at least I thought they were going to be, and have survived the first couple of storms almost completely intact, which is great news. That, as well as the continued use of the dewatering wells, has really retarded the movement on the east side, and we hope with putting more wells in over on the west side, with ACLAD, that's going to retard the movement over on the west side.
You mentioned about the utilities. The Southern California Edison did put a temporary pole at Ladera Linda Community Park last summer. The backstory of that was the way it all happened. It was sort of a surprise, I think, to the city when the pole was going up. But you've worked with the utility company and allowed them to keep that pole there till there's a way to remove it and come up with another option.
Correct.
So tell us about that pole.
So the pole was put up at the top of the staircase at Ladera Linda that leads down into the Seaview neighborhood. That pole was put in as an emergency measure in a primary view corridor up at our beautiful park at Ladera Linda. Not the most optimal position from a aesthetic point of view, and we're looking at where to put that to both serve the residents of Seaview and be able to have 2 microgrids down there, which is why it was put in, and allow to have resilient electrical infrastructure there, and how to arrange it. So we're working with SoCal Edison to balance both the aesthetics of Ladera Linda and also the utility needs of being able to provide resilient power to the neighborhood.
Right, because it's giving power to Seaview, which was impacted by the landslide. And I know through the conversation, there's a lot of feedback. Residents, when this agenda item came up in the last month at the council meeting, residents saying, what about undergrounding, something like that? So where's that conversation going?
So we have been trying to work with Southern California Edison and pressure them to underground utilities whenever possible. Undergrounding has the advantage of it being much more resilient to wildfires. Unfortunately, it's also very expensive. So any neighborhood that wants to underground their utilities, they can, and they can form a coalition to go pay for it. Southern California Edison has, up to this point, been unwilling to underground, and are continuing to deploy and maintain above ground infrastructure.
All right. Since you're talking about the undergrounding and the aspect of safety with fire prevention, let's segue into the fact that our city held a town hall, a wildfire town hall that was super successful. We had a lot of attendees, both online, virtually. We were on YouTube Live. It was it was a lot of great dialogue and information given out. Talk about the takeaways from that town hall that took place, and just how our city is plugging forward public safety resources.
So I think the town hall was an amazing community event. I mean, we were able to get Chief Kane, our battalion commander, here, who gave an overview of the lessons learned from LA County Fire on what happened in Pacific Palisades and the Altadena fires. I mean, just tragic up there. And then we also had the 3 water agencies that help serve water for the peninsula, talking about water resiliency. We had the LA County Sheriff there, and Captain Guerrero was there, talking about the things that the Sheriff's Department does in the case of emergency for evacuation of people. It was a great opportunity. Assemblymember Marisucci was there and talked about from the statewide level what was going on, but it was really great information for everybody to get.
Right, and I think
home hardening as well.
Yes, that was a big thing. A lot of residents that were there asking about, how do I have 5 feet of fenceable space? What's the best kind of plants to put in? And I learned a lot as well as we were there filming it. And by the way, viewers, if you want to go on and check it out, you can go on our city's website, and it's being live streamed. It's on our YouTube channel. So
yeah, and there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of written information also with links on the city website to various LA County Fire resources and LA County Sheriff resources.
In the last month, Lomita Sheriff Station Captain Guerrero presented the quarterly public safety update to the City Council and talked about overall crime for 24 was down. That's a good thing, but things like burglaries have increased. So what is your message to residents right now about how safe we are in RPV and what we should all be doing to be vigilant?
So RPV is still one of the safest cities in the state of California. That being said, no crime is acceptable crime. So we continue to work with LA County Sheriff to increase our patrols and make us as crime-free as possible. There is no acceptable amount of crime. And that goes for residential burglaries, which have been up and down. But recently, all of our crime stats have been going down, which is a good thing. And we will just continue to go at it.
And this city council is dedicating extra resources. You're working on, we're launching a new public safety division within our own city to help supplement what's going on with the sheriff's services. And that will, as this is coming forward, we're going to have public safety officers out in the community helping to do non-emergency sheriff's.
Exactly.
That's
so the public safety organization for the city is meant to augment and take off some of the more administrative tasks from the LA County Sheriff to allow them to focus on patrol, crime prevention, and allow us to respond to some of the more routine calls.
One of the issues when the captain brings her report to the council, she talks about type 1 crimes, type 2 crimes, and also traffic citations and also response times. So overall, how is the council feeling about how our sheriffs, law enforcement are doing enough to control safety on our roads right now? I think there was 1,000 citations, not all obviously hazardous ones, but in the last year. So how are you feeling about what's going on there?
Traffic calming and traffic control is always one of the things on our residents' minds. Certainly living over on the east side, if you ever drive Palos Verdes Drive East, there are folks that drive at unsafe speeds. So we continue to work with the sheriff to bring resources to bear to help enforce the current traffic laws and speed limits.
On PV Drive East, you mentioned that traffic calming measures are in play regarding the intersection at PV Drive East and Marilest.
Yes.
Obviously by the Marilest Intermediate School area. It was back before the council about moving forward with the traffic calming plan there.
Yes.
There's been some discussions about possibly eventually putting lights in. What is the strategy right now? What did the council approve in terms of continuing traffic calming measures there?
So we're continuing to look at how best to, the Marilest Plaza area, best to have traffic calming measures there. For the near term, we're going to continue with the traffic guards and traffic direction. But we are looking at, is a roundabout in that area going to help it? Is a signal there going to help? And really, what's the best way to make it for a long-term solution?
Thanks for working on that. Obviously, keeping the students safe walking to and from school, because it's a bit of a crazy time of drop off.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to talk about an issue that came before the city council, held a public hearing on February 18th regarding a specific property on Ironwood Street. Tell us about the situation with that property.
So this was a lot that was requested to be developed into high density housing in an area that was going to be problematic for that much density. That application was put in and then it was withdrawn. Subsequent to it being withdrawn, our housing element was approved by HCD and we were in substantial compliance. The developer came back and thought that they had grounds for what is called a builder's remedy. The city disagreed with that finding, and at the last council meeting we codified the fact that we were not going to allow the builder's remedy application to go forward.
So when the council was holding their public hearing, you actually weren't reviewing the actual application of that property, but just the process itself and whether or not this was submitted before the housing element was approved by our city. Because once that housing element was on the books, this would mean then the developer would have to go by city ordinances and rules rather than just circumvent the process.
It was more of a procedural discussion as opposed to a discussion of the merits of the project, which we had discussed previously.
So obviously the applicant can come back to the city and still put the application in, but
absolutely
following city ordinances and rules, et cetera. All right. There's some new exciting news on the Western Avenue front because the city's storefront improvement program, matching grant program, is kicked off, and you've now awarded 4 businesses grants, matching grants from our city to help beautify Western Ave. Talk about that matching grant program and that why this is going to be a great thing. And I think you've given out $50,000 right now so far in grants.
So Western Avenue beautification of the business corridor there has been a primary focus for the city to help bring that area and make it visually look more like the rest of the city, help our residents down on the east side, down off of Western Avenue. It's an exciting time. We have given grants to several of the businesses along there to be able to help with signage and help with storefront improvements to help bring more business and help it look more compatible with the entire area. Some of the businesses had been in older buildings that had started to deteriorate over the years, and this is a great opportunity to make that entire corridor look like a new modern shopping area.
Right. Now, the application process is still ongoing. If you want to apply for a matching grant, you have until March 28th to do that.
Which is just coming up.
Deadline.
Yep.
And the recipients, by the way, I don't know that we've got them written down here. There's 4 of them. Was Western Plaza, Westmount Plaza shopping centers, there's a commercial retail building that received it, and a U.S. Bank remodeling, which is the old Marie Callender's building. So we'll be looking for all those improvements. So of course, as we're talking about Western Avenue businesses, a really important business, of course, is Green Hills Memorial Park. They came before the council for their annual conditional use permit review that happens every year. And of course, that was approved. Talk about that process when they come before the council.
So historically, we've always had Green Hills. There had been some problems in the past with the neighbors around Green Hills. There was a management change and things have improved dramatically. When I was on the Planning Commission, there was a lot of strife between some of the neighbors and Green Hills management. That has completely changed. Green Hills has really done a great job in reaching out to the local neighbors, working with them, making sure it was compatible with the neighborhoods that live in that area. That conditional use permit came before the City Council because the City Council was the one that heard it originally. I keep trying to get it pushed back down to the Planning Commission. Our city manager says I can't because once the City Council takes it over, we can't remand it back down. I'm going to continue to work on him. But
yes, I know. Well, you were on the Planning Commission too, so you think they can handle more work there.
Exactly.
All right. We mentioned earlier, this is that budget setting season time and everything gearing up to approving the fiscal year 25-26 budget in June. You'll do that. There will be the first goals workshops March 17th. So as our viewers are watching this, it will have probably already taken place.
Yes.
But just give us an outline. The city's goals, I've been working with the cities now since 2007. And I've watched, like there used to be hundreds of city goals and now you've really tuned it, refined it to make them smart.
Well, we at one point had so many goals that it was hard to track. And if you can't track goals, then you don't have goals.
Yeah.
So we've tried to consolidate those goals into major goals that both near term and long term for the city and city staff to execute to. I think we've done a great job over the last couple of years simplifying it, putting it in a Gantt chart format, being able to track what we're doing. Some of our goals we have had to put on hold because of fiscal constraints. Certainly the landslide has taken a huge bite out of our budget. I mean, we have spent on landslide remediation the equivalent of the entire annual budget of this city on emergency measures over the last 18 months. But the goals are things that we want to get accomplished. It has public safety, it has capital improvement projects, it has staff training and things for public safety.
The thing is about the goals, the public can have input as well, obviously. They're welcome to come to the workshops, submit, and to sort of help guide and shape because the policies that you set as a council.
Absolutely. I mean, we are representative of the public. So if somebody within the city wants to come and comment on it, we are more than happy to listen to that and help modulate or direct our goals because it is for the betterment of everyone in the city of Rancho Palos Verdes.
And I want to mention, earlier we were talking about public safety, our new public safety division. Spring is in the air. It's also a time to get online and fill out a survey about public
Yes.
safety. You want to mention what's going on there? We're asking our residents what they think about public safety.
Yeah, and it's a survey looking at what each of our residents think of as the major concerns that they have, whether that's crime, fire, but on public safety, which helps the city just focus our attention on where our residents think the major issues are.
Right, and they can take that survey by just going on our city website. It's right on the homepage there. You can click on that, and it takes all of less than a minute. I filled mine in. Did you fill it in?
I have not done mine yet.
It's your turn. Yeah, you have until March 31st, so you've got time.
Okay.
As busy as you are. You're also recruiting right now for the Youth Advisory Committee, our newest committee.
Or the YAC.
The YAC, Yakety Yak. And so there's this summer, there'll be a changing of the guard. It's for 7th through 12th graders, I think, who live in RPV can apply. Very exciting with that new committee.
Yeah, that was established in the last council cycle. Former council member Eric Alegria, who is now on the school board, was instrumental in spearheading that. But it's bringing some of the youth of the community in to help us address issues that are focused on the youth and the schools age children.
Future mayors, future city council members.
Absolutely.
That we're grooming there. So yeah, you can reach out to our city clerk for details if you know somebody that wants to apply. All right. Biggest event coming up of this time of year is Whale of a Day.
Whale of a Day.
And I'm not calling you a whale.
Thank you. I appreciate you
Set
not
record
going
straight
there.
here. I want to make that big declaration when I'm with Dave. But you will be at Whale of a Day, of course. It is Saturday, April 12th, the most exciting 40th anniversary year.
It is the 40th anniversary of Whale of a Day. It's a great time to go down to Point Vicente Interpretive Center. There will be booths, there will be crafts, there will be games for the kids, the folks out there that are doing the whale migration census will be there. It's just a great time to come down.
There's lots going on too that's going to be new this year. They're going to put together a cool historic video that people can watch, and they're just going to have a lot more festivities and the typical though, like there'll be the puppet show, great music all day long. City booths will be there, so you can come meet
Public
them there.
safety.
Public safety, giving out great information, and we're excited because we're going to be live streaming for the first time. YouTube Live, RPVtv will be there, letting everybody know to come on down. And when you do come down to that event, you come to City Hall and you take a public transportation.
The Palos Verdes Peninsula Transit Authority buses will be shuttling folks from the Kendida Civic Center down to Point Vicente Interpretive Center, and those shuttles will be running all day.
And your favorite topic, not just the whales, is the lighthouse. There will be lighthouse grounds tour. You can't go up into the lighthouse, but there you can see the museum, and that'll be really nice to have that open.
For those that haven't gone on the lighthouse property and gone to the base of the Point Vicente Lighthouse, it's very cool. There's a small museum at the base of the lighthouse that highlights the history of the Coast Guard for LA Long Beach, and it's very informative. I encourage everybody to go.
I'm excited. April 12th, mark your calendars, 10 to 4, Whale of a Day. Now the whale always has some competition from the bunny. A week after the whale goes by, we have the egg extravaganza bunny up at Kendida Civic Center, and the event is sold out.
It is sold out, but if you want to watch unbridled enthusiasm of 300 elementary age children let loose to go chase down eggs all at once, it is reaffirms your joy for the season. It is so much fun to watch.
The city does this. Rec and Park staff, big shout out to them for all these events they put on, but that one especially, there's a petting zoo there. It's super exciting and fun, and it definitely it brings our community together, which is what we love and need. Now the city council is going to be together in Socorro City, Japan. This is very exciting. You're packing your bags, getting ready for the trip at the end of March.
We are.
Talk about that. What's happening with that partnership, and this is really important.
So the partnership with our sister city, Socorro City, started with a exchange program with with Marilust Intermediate, where they had been having middle school exchange program over the last 20 years. We codified a sister city relationship with Socorro City. They were here for our 50th anniversary. We are now going to have the opportunity to go over and sit with our sister city on their 20th anniversary of their incorporation. The mayor and the city council from Socorro has been to Palos Verdes 3 times. This is our first opportunity to go over, and we'll be there on their 20th anniversary. I have actually been to Socorro City for some of my business when I've been in Japan, but this is the first time the rest of the city council is going to be able to go over there.
Well, we're excited to hear highlights when you get back.
Oh, absolutely.
And share all the details of your tours. And at this time of year, the cherry blossoms, are they ready for you when you get there? I know that's one of the special parts of...
Absolutely, which Socorro is actually known for its cherry blossoms. I think they have multiple, I think there's like 12 different types of cherry trees that they have. I don't think we're going to be there for cherry.
But they gifted us a cherry tree. Yes,
absolutely.
Right. That's exciting. And when you go to City Hall, you see that Sister City sign. That it's very, very exciting, and it helps build cultural ties. And it's really just been a long historic relationship with that city. And safe travels, and let us. Next time we do our mayor show, we'll have all the details of that. You are a busy mayor. You have all kinds of activities. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that our Mayor Bradley is even more famous than ever. You were just in the Wall Street Journal because of tying in, it wasn't about the landslide this time, but it was about public safety and our Pano AI wildfire detection cameras. So give us a little sneak preview, or there's already about that article and what it was about.
So the Wall Street Journal, and this had to do with the fires recently in LA County and what we had done. And it was highlighting our Pano AI artificial intelligence monitoring system that has been implemented within the city and is actually working with all 4 cities on the peninsula. It is a state-of-the-art system that is monitoring like the old-time smoke detectors that were in those towers that were out there looking. This is 24/7. It's not a person, but a automated system that's looking at the hyperspectral imagery to pick up the smoke that would be the telltale sign of a wildfire. And identifying fires early is critical to making it resources out there to put it down prior to it getting out of hand. So it's been a great resource. We've picked up several fires in the local area, one in Torrance down at the Butcher entrance off of Hawthorne, which was put out immediately. Our system did detect the Pacific Palisades fire across the bay even as that was starting out. Actually, it had already started by the time we detected it because of so far away, but it's really paid dividends.
I know you were in that story I was saying for the Wall Street, but of course you also are continuously being interviewed by media regarding our landslide. That's still the focus. Everybody wants to know. And in the end, what do they ask you the most? I'm curious when it comes to the landslide. I mean, they want to know what's the fix? What do they ask you?
How to stop it. And we are continuing to try to educate people on the cause of the landslide, the mechanisms of the landslide, and the ways that we can retard the landslide and get the movement retarded back to historic norms.
Okay. Well, thanks for all your work. You're a volunteer with our city, and we appreciate it. And anything, you get the last word, Mayor Bradley, anything you want, any final mayor's announcements as we're heading into springtime?
Whale of the Day and the Egg Extravaganza is coming up. I urge everyone to come out to those 2 events. They are great times within the city, and it indicates the beginning of spring for the city of Rancho Palos Verdes. So come on out and let's have some fun.
All right. Thank you so much. We will, and thanks to the Trump National team that lets us sit here and do our program. It's great to be out and about in the community, and I don't remember where we'll be next month, so stay tuned for that because you'll find us somewhere around Rancho Palos Verdes because we are RPV together.
We are.
I love that. All right. Thanks again. I'm Liz Brown Swanson with RPV City Talk. Stay safe out there. Thanks for tuning in.